Hello, family. Welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Melanin Mayhem podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. Oh, if this is your first time kicking it with us over here at the Mayhem Factory, baby, welcome. The water is fine. Come on in, darling. Let me tell you what you've stepped into. You see, I bring you stories every week of some of the most heinous, diabolical, and audacious crimes committed by some melanated baddies. Ooh, out here just doing real foul shit, right? And I bring these stories to you every week because we need to know that black people are out here committing serial offenses, honey. Don't believe the hype, because that's what they want us to think, that there are certain types of crimes that we don't commit. We do. And if you don't believe me, ask the wonderful people of the New Orleans Nation that's been rocking with me for like what, almost 2.5 years now. New Orleans Nation, what it do, boo boo? Oh, I have missed y'all something serious. This week has been weekend for me, honey. It feel like, what's today? Tuesday night? It feel like it should be Friday for real. Oh my Lord, have mercy. This weekend I jetted off and did 3 states in 2 days. Flew into New York, visited some kin people, went over to Delaware, and came back home through Philadelphia. Your girl is tired, child, but never too tired for my peeps, because we have to get together. And ooh, Lord, have mercy. The story I got for y'all today, it just don't make no sense. I know I say that every week, but this one here takes the cake. But before we get into the criminality of this motherfucker we're going to talk about today, just a couple of church announcements for you. Don't forget the website, melaninmayhempodcast.com. Also, don't forget, there is still time this Thursday. We're going to do the first ever kickback with the country girl. Those who are subscribed over on Supercast, you will get your invitation Wednesday night. I think I got it scheduled to go out Wednesday night, Thursday for the event. Now, here's the thing. We're going to do it. Supercast has a new feature where I can basically host a live get together, but it's the beta, and I'm going to be one of the first testers for it. So in the off chance that it does not work, I am also going to have a backup plan. I'm going to have a little Zoom type situation as well. And I will also include a Zoom link. If the Supercast thing just goes to hell in a handbasket, check your email for an email from Melanin Mayhem podcast that will have the link for the Zoom. But we're going to hope and pray that everything goes off without a hitch. But when you're beta testing some things, they don't know. Supercast is trying some shit, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to be guinea pigs, if you will. But that's all right. We're going to do what we do. And baby, we're going to have so much fun, and I cannot wait. And yes, there is still time. If you want to kick it with me, go on ahead and go over to melaninmayhempodcast.supercast.com and sign up for a subscription service, and you too can kick it with the country girl. Now, I think that's all I got for church announcements. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, please. And thank you. Tell all your friends about the country girl. And I think that's it. More to come next week. I'm in Virgo season, y'all. So, my mind is a little flighty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to do something. And oh my Lord, the weekend of my birthday, tell me why No Limit and Cash Money going to be in Atlanta, baby. We going back to the 90s, baby. I'm going to be a whole No Limit soldier, y'all. I don't know nothing about that. I tell you, the country girl loves us some trap music, and that's my era right there, honey. Them hot boys. I'm going to be acting a show no fool. Look at Nana out there. Ooh, baby. All right. Enough of that. I also want to shout out to Cinemaphile 212, who put me on to this deranged motherfucker we gonna talk about today. I told y'all, cereal and motherfuckers just fall in my lap. Now, I sure appreciate y'all. Keep the suggestions coming, because I look them up. I'm telling you, every time you send me something, whether it's on social media, if you send me a DM, if you send me an email, hey, country girl, you heard about this person? I go and look that shit up, and then I add it to my ever-growing list of people that we need to talk about. But this one right here, Cinemaphile 212, Oh, honey, when I looked at this one, there was already somebody on the docket for this week. Because remember, last week I told you I had went down a rabbit hole and found somebody else and we were going to talk about him this week. This motherfucker today, he jumped the line. I could not even wait, baby. We needed to talk about this motherfucker today because the audacity on 1 million, like to the 15th power. Baby, this trifling bastard we going to talk about today, he take the cake. I mean, he is a serial offender for sure, but it's just not in the traditional sense that we've come to think of our, shall we say, garden variety serial murderers. I mean, this dude, honey, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. If you came in contact with him and you weren't on a physical type relationship with him, you just, see him in the bank or work with the nigga or something like that. The people say that he was quite skilled at misrepresenting himself. That's a direct quote. Say this motherfucker could talk to you like butter would melt in his mouth. He was a master manipulator, a smooth talking snake in the grass. He'll be smiling 1 second and send you to the upper room in a old nasty way the next second, honey. And I'm telling you, we have talked about some real low life scum on this here podcast, New One Nation. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, right? But this nigga here, he right up there on the Mount Rushmore of diabolical, audacious motherfuckers. His crimes, they are going to boggle your mind. And the fact that law enforcement and the judicial system, they did everything except pave the streets in gold every time they let his ass back into the general population of the state of Maryland. Baltimore and Anne Arundel County specifically, baby, he terrorized the fuck out of y'all. Just horrible. I am so glad that they finally, and when I say finally, I mean finally. Y'all will understand. They finally took this mangy dogs off the street. But god damn, it took forever. So you know what? Let us not belabor the moment. Y'all, I have the distinct displeasure of dragging this slimy, syphilitic sack of shit to the front of the congregation so we can drag his ass to hell. This week's Melanin Mayhem maker is Mr. Lawrence Banks Sr. Let us move on to the reason for the streaming. Now, this week I don't have a lot of background information. All of the ink that was spilled on this nigga here was all about his criminality. So what I do know about Lawrence Banks Sr. is that he was born June 7th, 1953 in Maryland. I know that he graduated from City College, and after he graduated, he went into the Army, and he also left the Army and went into the Marines. So he's got a military background. Now, at some point, he meets a woman named Vivian. Now, they kicking it or whatever, and then the next thing you know, they are jumping the broom. Now, Lawrence and Vivian, they got 2 kids together, a son named Lawrence Jr. that came in 1974, and a daughter named Dominique that came right after in 1975. Damn, Lawrence, let that woman breathe. But, this is the Bankses, right? Lawrence and Aunt Viv, right? Because, Banks, Vivian Banks, that's her name. And for whatever reason, Aunt Viv has stuck with me, right? Well, let me tell you something. It wasn't no Prince of Bel-Air up in that mug. Honey, it was hell on wheels because Lawrence, honey, he was throwed the fuck off. And that little family went through pure D hell up in that house with him. Like, he was the put hands on type. And he didn't give a fuck about pregnant. He didn't give a fuck about you being a baby, toddler, none of that shit. Like, he opened supersized cans of whoop ass. That's what he did. Well, we kicked this thing off with a bang in 1975. Remember, that's the year his youngest child was born, Dominique, 1975. Baby, tell me why this monkey mouth motherfucker showed his whole ass all throughout 1975 and didn't stop because nobody stopped him. Honey, wait till y'all hear this shit. So, July 3rd, 1975. This is the day before what? Independence Day. You know, you're supposed to be full of the spirit, want to get out here and barbecue a little bit or something. You know, black folk love July 4th, right? So what had happened was his wife, Vivian Banks, he done opened up a can of whoop ass on Vivian, right? He done choked her. He done beat her. Like, he is really out here on Front Street. Like, this is not happening in the house. This is happening on the streets of Baltimore. Not only is it happening on the streets of Baltimore, Baltimore PD is standing right here bearing witness to him crashing the fuck out on his old lady. Baby, they say he drugged that lady into the house. Row house, right? Drug her through the row house that they lived in, roughed her ass up some more. And then, you know, they brought out the negotiators, and after a while, they did eventually snatch his ass up. But how about, even though they saw the assault go down, Aunt Viv didn't want to press charges. Man, that couldn't be my ass. So the police, they dropped the charges. And you know what? We listen. We don't judge, New Orleans Nation. Stop it. We don't judge the victims, because 1975 was a different time and women's rights were not at the top of anybody's list. You know what I'm saying? It was still kind of rough to be a woman in 1975. And you know, Aunt Viv had to do what she had to do to make sure that her babies were safe-ish, because quiet as it's kept, wasn't nobody safe around Lawrence. And you gonna see what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, you would think that after not getting locked up for jumping on his wife, that he would have sat that ass down somewhere and, you know, just drunk his water and thanked the Lord that he wasn't kicking it at the county. Not this diabolical motherfucker. Y'all are not gonna believe what he did next. Did y'all notice the change in my voice? I get so emotional. I've sat with this story for over a week and it still just gets me, man. Like, oh my God. So after jumping on Aunt Viv earlier in the year, we find ourselves at the holidays. It's Christmas. December 27th, 1975 to be exact. We talking 2 days after Christmas. And him and Aunt Viv done got to arguing. Now, they are at Lawrence's mama's house. Don't know her name, but I just know that this argument took place at his mama's house in East Baltimore. And they just out here carrying the fuck on. Fuck Santa Claus. Lawrence want all the smoke. And the shit go from 0 to 1,000,000 real quick. You know what I'm saying? And apparently, because they are at his mama's house, whatever this argument was, Mama Banks, Lawrence's mama, apparently was on Aunt Viv's side, and both of them were getting in that ass, right? And so he don't like to be told he wrong or whatever the case may be. So he really telling Aunt Viv and his mama that they better shut the fuck up, or he gonna do something to this baby that they gonna regret. This baby being his baby. And I don't know. I guess they weren't taking Lawrence seriously and they were still getting in his ass. And I'm saying, if his mama was out there in the beef, that shit was rightfully so. Like, your mama usually won't jump in no shit if you ain't in the right. You know what I'm saying? Well, this dusty dick degenerate took his 7-month-old daughter, Dominique. That's the baby him and Aunt Viv got together. Dominique. And then he did some of that old For Colored Girls. Y'all remember that movie? Yeah, he did some For Colored Girls type shit. New Orleans Nation. He threw that baby through a glass door. Oh, yes. You heard me. 7 months old. And her sadistic sperm donor put her through a closed door, a closed glass door without opening it. Ooh, my sweet Jesus. Baby, I don't know Baby Dominique, I don't know. I don't know if she had a praying grandmother. Because considering she was at her grandmama's house, grandmama might have been on the main line with Black Jesus. And I don't know, maybe her guardian angel was working overtime. Because even though her father just put her through a door, she lived. Baby, they say Aunt Viv ran knees to chest all the way to the hospital with baby Dominique in her arms. Yes, honey, Lawrence's mama stayed round the corner from Johns Hopkins. You know, that's the good hospital. Baby, Aunt Viv, she was Flojo up in that thing. She got there faster than an ambulance could have got to them. Baby, it do something to my spirit. I can't even imagine somebody put my 7-month-old daughter through a glass door. It just, baby, a mother's love. That woman ran her baby top speed round the corner. Dawn was hurt. Now, don't get it twisted. She was cut up like a motherfucker. Make no mistake about it. That baby had to have 22 stitches in her head. And at 7 months old, 22 stitches, that damn near put her back together. I mean, her little head ain't but yay big, and all 22 of these stitches was in her head. Like, he bust her shit open to the white meat. Like, her shit was flapping open. Like, what the fuck? A stinking bastard. Ooh, my Lord Jesus. Well, Baltimore police, they did yoke his ass up for that shit. And they charged him with assault with intent to disfigure. That was his charge. But here's the kicker. Yeah, they arrested him, but they gave that trifling nigga a bond. So he made bail, and he right back on the street. And what y'all about to find out is what kind of a sneaky ass, snake in the grass, vindictive ass nigga Lawrence really is. So he's out pending trial. And now you know who got to testify at this trial, right? Aunt Viv, because she was there. This is her daughter, and she witnessed the shit, right? Well, after he two-stepped out the county, not too long later, Aunt Viv come up missing. And New Orleans Nation, this is what I don't understand after reading this. What kind of investigation was done? I mean, where were her babies? Because these were indeed babies. Dominique is like 7, 8, 9 months, let's call it at the most 9 months old, fresh up out the hospital. Lawrence Jr. is like a toddler, maybe 18 months old. So where are these babies? And I don't know, but I do know that these babies would end up in foster care because Aunt Viv is gone like a fart in the wind all of a sudden. And their daddy, oh, well, you know, he got to go do some time for abusing said babies. You know, he just put his baby Dominique through a glass door. But I still, y'all, in my spirit, in my soul, I want to know what the fuck did Baltimore Police Department do by way of investigating where the fuck Aunt Viv was? Because what happened next don't make no motherfucking sense to me. How about they found Aunt Viv in April of 1976, dead in a closet. Well, wait. Not just any closet, y'all. Her own damn closet, in her own damn apartment, in her own damn name, where she pay the bills at trying to take care of her children that all of a sudden ain't got no mama. You mean to tell me didn't nobody think that this shit was sus? Especially after y'all done seen up close and personal with your own two eyes what the fuck Lawrence will do to her and them damn children? How the fuck she dead up in her own place, missing, and the investigation didn't take y'all to her own place and y'all could have found her in her own closet? Okay, I'm not going to belabor the moment. And I know y'all probably thinking the same thing that I was thinking. That lame ass motherfucking Lawrence, oh, he did that shit. And you know what? Baltimore good, no investigating police officers, they was with us with the same shit too. You know, although they were a day late and $1 short, they knew for sure he did that shit. But, you know, it's always a but. The problem was Aunt Viv, She had been in that closet for a little minute, and it wasn't nothing that the medical examiner could do to figure out exactly what was her cause of death. She was too far gone. So even though everybody knew this trifling motherfucker Lawrence did the shit, they can't call it and they can't prove it. And so he basically skates on Aunt Viv. Nobody is made to pay for Aunt Viv's untimely demise. But they nailed his ass for baby Dominique. They gave that ass 15 years in prison in October 1976. Just a little bit of go sit your ass down, nigga. And I'm just saying, while he was up in there, how come nobody didn't shank that motherfucker? Please and thank you. This is not hard. Understand the assignment. He hurt a baby. Somebody should have fucked his ass up, but they didn't. He makes it through his sentence and is back on the scene in December of 1988. I know. He is back on the scene. So at this point, your boy done did 12 of them 15 years. Y'all think he got some act right in him now? I mean, his children, they've been in foster care since they was babies. And I'm thinking maybe that was a blessing. I mean, if their mama couldn't be there to protect them and love them, at least Lawrence, their daddy, wasn't there to terrorize them. And hopefully their foster care experience was a decent one, a positive one, because I know that can be some bullshit too. But, that's a story for another day. Maybe we can talk about that on Thursday at the live meetup, because, it ain't too late to get in where you fit in. But anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Back to the story. Did this nigga get out with some act right was the question. And the answer is a big fat ass hell to the no. At this point, when he gets out, he is 35 years old, still got a hair trigger temper, and he want all the smoke. Now, when Lawrence wasn't in prison or going up somebody's head or disconnecting a motherfucker, the nigga kept a job. Like, he worked as a car salesman. He worked over at the car wash. He did some construction work. Like, he was not known to be a user of drugs. He was what you would really say an active participant in society. He would just throw it off like a motherfucker, right? And as usual, cray, keep a bay. And at first when he got out, it was a chick named Janet. They got together. He had a daughter with Janet. And then he moved on to a chick named Sharon. Had a son with Sharon. So at this point, he's got 4 kids, right? 2 by his first wife, and then 2 by 2 different women. And it appeared to be quiet on the creek with all of them, because I don't see Janet or Sharon's name in any of the charging documents, but I did find something just a little bit interesting. We'll talk about it in a minute. But so he gets out on parole, and he doing a little bullshit, but nothing to raise the alarm, right? So about 3 years after getting out, he was ready to start popping the fuck off again. And in 1991, that's the year it all goes down. Now, first you have what happened in 1991. Lawrence Jr. and his sister Dominique, they make a report to the authorities about their daddy. They say that he beat the brakes off of them, and Dominique say he got drunk one night and he raped her. And at this point in time, Dominique and Lawrence Jr., they're teenagers, right? And in 1991, the world is a different place. It's not the 70s anymore. People have more rights. You got Oprah out here telling us to tell it all and be about your feelings. And the shit that was being done in the dark was being exposed. So when they make this report, DFACS gets involved and they start doing an investigation. Now, mind you, Lawrence Jr. and Dominique are still in the foster care system. So, November 12th, 1991, after the complaint was made, there is a custody hearing, basically where they're going to talk to Lawrence Sr. and present to him all of the evidence that they have against him for his children's claims. And so now at this point, on this date, November 12th, Lawrence finds out that his kids finna have his ass fucked up, right? As he should be. But y'all, this nigga don't like nobody having his name in their mouth. And we know he vindictive than a motherfucker. And we also know he don't give 2 shits about them kids. Because, they been in foster care all their goddamn life. Oh, this is about to be so ungood. Y'all, That happened November 12th. On November 19th, 1991, we talking 7 days after this little court date, this nigga Lawrence, he is out shooting the shit with some of his homies in Pasadena, Maryland. Not Pasadena, California, Pasadena, Maryland. And I mean, these are his peoples. It's Lawrence and two of his homies, dude named Mike, dude named Charles. And they riding around getting their drink on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Baby, the friend named Mike, his government name is Michael Chisholm. And I don't know what Mike said, and I don't know what Mike did, but something happened in that car that pissed that nigga Lawrence the fuck off, because the next thing you know, he pulling over. They get out the car, and Michael end up with an extra hole in his head that he didn't have before he started passing the bottle with Lawrence pussy ass. So they went from shooting the shit to Mike literally getting the shit shot out his ass. And after that, after he put Mike down, Lawrence and Charles, the other friend, they get back in the car and leave Mike on the pavement. Now, your boy Charles, now he said he was scared than a motherfucker. He saw what the fuck just happened, and he didn't want no extra holes in his body, so he was on some shit to fuck up his free, and he took full advantage of that shit. He got his ass back in that car like they had just dropped Mike off at the crib, eyes forward, neutral face than a motherfucker. He ain't, you ain't got to shoot nobody else. But wait, remember, Lawrence is vindictive. We know he is very vindictive when he thinks somebody is out to get him. So after fucking up Mike, he's still on some vengeance is mine type shit. Tell me why, after he sent Michael to the upper room, he head back to Baltimore to have a little FaceTime with his children. This throwed off nigga went to the school where Dominique was, but some kind of way she managed to duck his ass, but not before he was able to tell her that she was gonna end up like her mama. Remember, her mama was Aunt Viv, who he left in the closet after he threw Dominique through that goddamn glass door. And he telling her that she gonna end up like her mama? Like, how in the fuck is this nigga walking around free in the year of our Lord 1991 terrorizing motherfuckers in plain sight? I mean, this is all happening on Front Street. He ain't trying to hide shit. He just dropping bodies and threatening to drop more bodies. Where the fuck are the police? Newer Nation, am I tripping? I know sometimes I can get a little extra, you know what I'm saying? But I was alive in 1991, and they wasn't really going for that shoot 'em up shit like that. So how in the fuck was this nigga able to just get out the car, run up on a motherfucker, drop him, go up in a public school, threaten his children? Like, how the fuck? I know Dominique told somebody at the school. She told a caseworker. She told a foster parent. She told somebody what the fuck her daddy had just did. And what about that nigga Charles? I know when he was able to get out that car, surely he told somebody. New Nation, am I tripping? Am I reading too much into this? Is this just too normal? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Because understand this. This disgusting ass degenerate was not done that day. Remember, he got 2 children. Well, he got 4, but at this point it ain't but 2 who out here dropping dimes on his ass. And he couldn't get to Dominique when he wanted to get to her, but he knew where Lawrence Jr. was. Y'all, this diabolical, negacious son of a satanic syphilis slut bucket pulled up on the foster home where Lawrence Jr. was staying at in Baltimore. He bust up in them people's shit, chased his son, Lawrence Jr., his namesake, chased that boy through the house, into the kitchen. Lawrence Jr. is on the floor begging and pleading for his daddy to put the motherfucking gun down. And do you know that this low life, snake in the grass, loathsome motherfucker Lawrence shot the shit out of Lawrence Jr.? Why that boy begged for his life? Ooh, my sweet black Jesus, that's some nasty work there. Now, they locked that monkey mouth motherfucker up finally after he killed his son. And I mean, it's about time. we needed to get this monkey ass nigga off the street. I mean, this is cold-blooded murder. This the coldest of cold-blooded murder. And you the murdering motherfucker that did the murderation. You abomination spawn of Satan. You just trifling. I mean, Newer Nation, how the fuck do you do a kick door and a gangland on your own child? Your own child. Your namesake. You senior. That's junior. And it'd be different if they were lying on you. I mean, let's just say that they was making up lies on him. Even then, still, you ain't supposed to goddamn kill your own kid in cold blood. But that's some cold-blooded shit. He kicked the door in and went up in these folks' shit and shot his son. Oh, Lord Jesus. How about that shit, man? Well, they did arrest Lawrence, and they charged him with the murder of his son. And then they also charged him in Pasadena, Maryland, for the murder of Mike Chisholm. But here is where the bullshit comes through, right? Now, this is two different jurisdictions. This is Baltimore, where Lawrence Jr. was murdered, and it's Pasadena, Maryland, which is it's called Anne Lauren County. So I got it somewhere. I'll figure it out. But it's two different jurisdictions, and neither one of these jurisdictions wanted to take the shit to trial because, according to them, each jurisdiction assumed that the other jurisdiction would take their case to trial. Just passing the buck like a motherfucker. This motherfucker killed somebody in your jurisdiction. Take his monkey ass to trial for that shit. Now, Baltimore, they were up first. They got all mannerisms of excuses for why it wasn't a good idea to take Lawrence to trial. They were talking about unreliable witnesses. I guess they were talking about Charles, the homie that was in the car when Mike got, and he might have still been in the car when Lawrence Jr. got. But maybe he was the unreliable witness. You know what I'm saying? A hood nigga doing hood shit. They ain't want to put him on the stand. I don't know. But then they were also saying that there were issues with the evidence. Like, I don't know. But however, whatever, they did not want to take it to trial. They ended up getting him to plead out. And what he did was what's called an Alford plea. And that was an Alford plea to second-degree murder for murdering his child in cold blood while he lay cowering on the floor, begging his pussy punk-ass paternal unit not to cut his water off. Now, if you don't know, an Alford plea basically says, I ain't gonna say I did it, but I guess you got enough evidence against me to convict me, so I'm gonna just let you have that shit. It's like nolo contendere for a goddamn speeding ticket. Some bullshit, I know. It's straight up fuckery. Now, the judge in this case, Judge John Nevis, he gave Lawrence Sr. 20 years for killing his son, Lawrence Jr. But that wasn't all he gifted him with, because he did indeed give him a gift. He being Judge Nevis, he put a note in the court record that Lawrence's sentence for killing his son could run concurrently with any other sentences that he might come across. Now, I'm going to put a pin in that for just a moment. I promise I'm going to circle back around to it real quick. So then we move on to the other killation that nigga did that same day. Remember, Mike got too. Mike got first. Okay, that's what it was. It's Anne Arundel County. That's where Pasadena is. Anne Arundel County. That's the jurisdiction. So when he goes to court in Anne Arundel County, they also give Lawrence 20 years for cutting off Mike water. Okay, so the nigga got a little quick 40, right? No, shawty. It don't work like that. Because remember, Judge Nevis slipped that little note in the court documents saying that his sentence could run concurrently with any other time Lawrence Banks Sr. got. So, concurrent sentences, not consecutive sentences. So it's not 40 years. It's still 20 years for killing 2 people in the coldest manner ever. 20 years. And then after Anne Arundel County gave their little sentence, how about the Baltimore prosecution office? They had the nerve to be on some, we are perplexed and devastated that Anne Arundel County didn't crank up the jury. They should have took their case to trial. Motherfuckers. Fuck you. Like, for real, you should have took your case to trial. Or you shouldn't have put a special note in about some fucking concurrent sentencing. How the fuck is that even possible? Like, this was the 90s, yo. This was not the 70s when they were really on some, gone on ahead and go out there and shenan again. We don't care with your bad self. This case was cut and dried. They had this nigga dead to rights, and they basically gave him detention rather than expelling him from society. Like, y'all had every opportunity to hide this nigga somewhere in the deepest, darkest hole that you could find and throw away the key. 20 years for 2 murders? He killed his son. And before that, he threw his daughter through a glass door when she was an infant. But this niggas out here doing life because they had a few drugs in their pocket? Man, get the fuck up out of here. Lord Jesus. You know what? Ain't no need in me getting my blood pressure up. This is vintage tea. This shit happened years ago. Ain't nothing I can do about it. But you know what? I want to remind you right now that these little 20 funky years that he got, remember, this is state time. You know what I'm saying? We know about state time. State time where you get all that time off for good behavior. So it ain't even 20 years. This nigga goes off to prison and he basically does 10 years for 2 murders. He got out in October of 2002 when he was 49 years old. 49? That nigga still had a lot of more good fucker bitch years up in him. And the motherfucking prosecutor from his case for killing his son in Baltimore, that prosecutor, one of the prosecutors, I should say, her name was Sharon May. When she heard that Lawrence Banks was getting out, how about she wrote a letter to the court asking for an emergency gun permit for her and one of Lawrence's baby mamas. Now, I don't know which baby mama she was talking about. I could not find it in anything that I was able to research. So I don't know if she was talking about Janet. I don't know if she was talking about Sharon, because we know Aunt Viv already gone, but we know he got 2 children still out here, right? And we also know, and they know, that he a vindictive motherfucker. And I guess, they wanted to be able to defend themselves. And they still let that motherfucker out. Like, how is that possible when the prosecutor is scared? The motherfucker who put him away is scared. And y'all let him out? Fuck all that. And baby, when he got out, fuck a bitch up, he did indeed do. So, first off, when he hit the block this time, he must have felt like it was time for a refresh or rebranding, if you will. This nigga changes his name from Lawrence Banks Sr. to Malik Samartaney. 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 Malik, you the same nigga to me. Yep. Went to the court, filed some paperwork, and ta-da, new nigga papers, signed, sealed, and delivered. Okay, so now he trying to leave his old life behind. Is he trying to turn over a little leaf? New leaf? I don't know. He stayed working, and this was no different. He got him a little job delivering office furniture, and even fucked around and got him a little workers' comp because he got in a little car accident while he was doing that job. And of course, we know he is not one to be alone. He hooked up with a chick. Her name is Patricia. And before long, she is the second Mrs. Banks. Or I guess since he got a name change, she is the first Mrs. Samartaney. They jumped the broom sometime after this nigga hit the bricks. I wonder, was she a prison bae? I don't know, not the point. But just like how Ike stayed putting his hands on a bitch, So did Lawrence. New name did not matter, honey. It wasn't long before he took to Molly whopping patty cakes just like he did Aunt Viv. And it didn't take long before she was out there asking and begging and pleading for some help. Because think about it, he got out in 2002. Went to the halfway house first for a little minute and then he was out. And by 2003, he was married. And that same year, his wife, Patricia, she calling the cops to come get this nigga. Patricia done got 3 protective orders against his ass in less than like 15 months time. Now what I don't understand is how the fuck did now one of them 3 protective orders, these 3 run-ins with the law for opening up a can of whoop ass on Pat, not violate his parole and send him right the fuck back to where he needed to be? That's a parole violation. You ain't supposed to do no dirt when you out on parole. Nigga, you got 3 protective orders against you against your wife. What? And all the parole office got to say about it when they was asked, they was like, oh, that's our bad. You see, we really didn't check the civil court dockets to see if, any of our parolees was out there shenanigan and, whatnot. Unfucking acceptable, Baltimore. Completely and totally. Do better. Well, in May of 2004, a year later, here go Pat calling the cops again. Now this time Pat say that he up in this motherfucker, he trying to suffocate her with a pillow. He done choked her out with the motherfucking vacuum cleaner hose. And he up in here threatening to cut her water the fuck off and dump her body in the Patuxent River. You gonna throw me in the river? Pat was like, can you please send the cavalry expeditiously? Please and thank you. And they do, and they took his ass to the county. Sure did. Now this time he didn't get a bond. So he sat until the wheels of justice got to moving. And they kind of moved kind of fast. He was in front of a judge 9 months later. Crunk up the jury and everything. Y'all, please tell me why they found this man not guilty in April 2005 of fucking Patricia up. His wife is up in here telling y'all he done tried to kill me all many different kind of ways, so many different times. And they didn't believe her. Clearly y'all didn't bring up his prior bad acts. This nigga crazy. Man, I sometimes hate it here. Even when I don't know what the fuck going on. Because that's some bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Again, this was in the year of our Lord 2005. And they found him not guilty. So now this nigga is really feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? He done legally got away with some shit. Oh, now he really on some bullshit. Now, when he got out, after they acquitted him, I don't know where Pat went, but she threw 2 deuces up and was like, I'm out, dipped out completely on that ass. I ain't read shit else about Pat. That's a smart woman. Yes, ma'am, Miss Pat. Go do your thing, honey. But it don't matter because, again, cray, keep a bay. And it wasn't long before Lawrence was booed up again. Now, this particular woman couldn't find her name. And I completely understand why, because, ooh, sis, you went through some shit. So even though I couldn't find her name, we got to call her something. So we're going to call her New Boo. New Boo and Lawrence are living in a rooming house in the city of Laurel. Now, I don't know, because, rooming houses, they just rent the rooms out by the room, right? And so I don't know if they met there. I don't know how they ended up in this one rooming house, but they're living in this rooming house in Laurel. Now, New Boo has a daughter. The daughter's name is Lisa Laverne Brown. New Boo's daughter is grown. She's 22 years old, so she just barely grown. She's still a baby. And Lisa has a daughter. This is New Boo's grandbaby. Grandbaby's name is LaBria. LaBria is 9 months old. Now, for reasons we all know got to do with this nigga being nuttier than squirrel shit, we know Lawrence's team fucked them kids. But they don't. New Boo don't know that shit. He don't like the daughter, and the daughter can see that this nigga ain't shit and he ain't right for her mama. Add to the fact that she grown, so she can make her opinions heard. But they're all living in this rooming house together. So I'm assuming, my mind, Lisa Laverne Brown, New Boo's daughter, and her daughter, 9-month-old Labria, they got a room that they rent out, and then New Boo and Lawrence, they in a room. That's what I'm assuming. But they all live in this house, right? Needless to say, she didn't care for him. He didn't give a fuck about her. Well, one day, December 1st, 2006 to be exact, 22-year-old Lisa asked Grandma to babysit Labria like 22-year-old daughters ask their mama do all the damn time so she could go out and go do some 22-year-old shit, right? Well, Lawrence Good ain't nobody's daddy or granddaddy up in this bitch. His pussy ass got something to say about Lisa asking her mama, her baby's grandmama, to babysit her granddaughter while she go do some 22-year-old shit. We also know that Lawrence goes from 0 to a milli real quick, and that particular day was the day that he iked out on Lisa. Say he slapped the taste out of her mouth. He done cussed her from pillar to post and knocked her to the floor. Well, Lisa ain't no punk, and you ain't my daddy, and I don't like you no way. This my mama type shit. You know what I'm saying? She calls the cops. Cops come. Of course, Lawrence disappears. But Lisa goes on and gets an order of protection against Lawrence. This nigga done had more orders of protection against him by various women in his life. Because at this point, shit, Pat had 3, Viv had a few. Like, he done had like at least a half dozen to a dozen stay the fuck away from me orders, right? Well, she got this protection order against Lawrence. And, of course, that means the law said you got to stay the fuck away from me. And, of course, she living in the rooming house. She going to always be around her mama. So, basically, by her getting this protection order, Lawrence going to have to stay the fuck away from the rooming house and stay the fuck away from her mama. And I'm with all the shit, Lisa. I really am. I promise you. But, baby, Lisa, 22-year-old Lisa, you ain't got the full story on it throwed off. Nigga, baby, you are missing key pieces of information on what the fuck you dealing with. See, this a vindictive ass nigga. A throw rocks and hide his hand ass nigga that ends up getting away with shit everybody know that he done did. Y'all don't know this. So, Lisa's order of protection, it's signed by a judge, but Lawrence hasn't been formally served. Like, he didn't go to court. You know what I'm saying? He know about the paperwork. He know that it's some shit going on out here, but he hasn't been served. And they kept trying to serve Lawrence this paperwork that said that he was supposed to stay the fuck away from being around Lisa, right? But baby, that goddamn nigga Lawrence, oh, he played a mean game of keep away. They never could get to him. And of course, like I said, he ain't go to court. Fuck that court and fuck Lisa too. That's what kind of time he was on. But the long arm of the law still trying to do their job. They tried to serve Lawrence like 3-4 different times. And they can't. Even though he's still living at the rooming house with Lisa mama. Still. Well. Lisa is going on about her life. She got this little piece of paper that say, cray, cray, got to stay, away. Lisa. Y'all. 11 days later, 11 days after she got her order of protection, December 12th, 2006, they found 22-year-old Lisa and her baby Labria. They is gone to be with the bridge over troubled water. Ooh, and they was gone in the most violent of ways. Somebody, and we know who that somebody is, but somebody put bullets in them in their bedroom, in their rooming house over there on Engelman Drive in PG County. Now, that particular day when this went down, the police had been over there trying to serve Lawrence a few hours earlier. And then a few hours later, Lisa, who ain't got no enemies, Lisa ain't out here in these streets. Lisa is deader than a motherfucker. Not only Lisa dead, but her baby dead. This is a baby. 9 months old. But I guess we shouldn't be shocked. Labria ain't no kin to Lawrence. Dominique was. She was 7 months old when he threw her through a glass door. So I don't know why taking this so much to heart that he did this to this baby. But he did that to that baby. A baby. And we know he did it. In PG County, them police, they felt it in their bones that Lawrence pussy ass did the killation too. But they ain't had no evidence. None whatsoever. Not a shred of evidence. All they got is good feelings and circumstantial shit. Nigga, it was you. The nigga she had the protective order against. It was you. Second woman with a protective order against you that end up got. So they couldn't nail him for Lisa and LaBria's murder. They didn't have no evidence. So they did the only thing that they could do to hold him until they could figure some shit out. They yoked his ass up on a parole violation. When he got out, he paroled out to one address, but then he moved over here to this border house with Nubu, but he didn't tell his PO. And it's already on record that he slapped the taste out of Lisa the other day before her untimely demise. And so we got an assault. That's 2 violations. And so they arrested him the very next day, December 13th, for violating his parole. And so he's down at the county, and it would take a few months. It wouldn't be until March 14th, 2007 that they were back in court and they actually got his parole revoked. So yeah, even though they knew he was the murdering murderer that murdered Lisa and LaBria, a horrible double homicide, they couldn't say it to the parole board because he wasn't charged with that murder. So all they got is the moving and not letting the PO know and hitting Lisa. But that was enough. They did indeed revoke his parole, and they sent his ass back to prison to finish out the rest of his sentence. Well, this was the sentence from killing his son and Mike. But you remember that sentence wasn't but 20 years. He had already did a good chunk of that. So all he had to do was 7 more. And he did them, standing on his head, no problem. And he was free in 2014. In and out. Like, how many times this man been in and out of prison for real serious crimes? Revolving door much? Now, here's the thing. When he got out in 2014, for me, this was a very surprising turn of events. When he got out this time, he did establish some semblance of a relationship with his daughter. And I use that term relationship very loosely. Dominique, went through what she went through. That was still her father. That is the only parental unit that she still had walking the earth. So I don't know if it was like a cordial relationship. It wasn't a, father of the year type shit. It was just, you my daddy. I know you. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But even in that, he couldn't do right. Your daughter has allowed you to come into her life when she should have been no contact. Like, I don't ever want to see you again in life. If you was on fire, I wouldn't even spit on you, like that type shit. But she allowed herself to be in his presence and attempt to, like I said, establish a semblance of a relationship. Even though he killed her brother in cold blood, she still allowed him to be in her orbit. Now, this motherfucker wasn't appreciative because he starts terrorizing Dominique. Now, understand, we know Dominique done been through some shit. She got put through a glass door, a closed glass door, head first as a baby. That's very traumatic. Her mother was taken from her as a baby. Very traumatic. She grew up in foster care. That can be hellaciously traumatic. So Dominique has had to deal with lifing from jump. And so she had her demons, thanks in part to her daddy pussy ass, right? And as such, she self-medicated. And I you know what I'm saying? I ain't mad. She was not, from what I could tell, Dominique was not, out here hard, on drugs. I mean, she did what she had to do. she was self-medicating. She was just getting high to make it through life. Like the PTSD of it all. She had kids. Like she went on to have 6 kids. So she was just trying to put one foot in front of the other. And I commend her for that. And if she liked to do, I'm assuming heroin because it says she was shooting up. And I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But if that's what she needed to do to get through the day, hey, I'm not a fan of the hard, drugs like that. But I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand, right? She maintaining. She got her kids and she living. But understand that pussy ass Lawrence, he didn't appreciate the fact that Dominique was out here getting high. So he would basically stalk her. If she was out here, doing her geeking or whatever, he was taking pictures of her. And the shit gets really weird. This motherfucker was texting his grandchildren, Dominique's kids. Remember, she got 6 kids. They are all adults. I say kids, but they're Dominique's kids. And I don't care how old they are, they're still her kids, right? Because she has a semblance of a relationship with her father, has access to her children and has their phone numbers. He takes it upon himself to not just text his grandchildren, not a, hey, how you doing? Granddaddy just want to check on you. You doing all right? Oh, no. This motherfucker send Dominique's children pictures of Dominique buck booty ass naked shooting up dope. How the fuck did he get them pictures? Because he was stalking her. I guess he knew what a dope house was. He knew where, her favorite places to go cop, whatever the case may be. He would go find his daughter at her most vulnerable. And, I don't know, I like to get naked when I'm, at home or whatever. So maybe Dominique like to get geek and take her clothes off. I don't know. That's her business. But however, whatever, he would find her undressed, take a picture of it, not try to help, but exploit it. He takes these pictures of her naked and shooting dope and then send them to her kids. Look at your mama. Look at your mama out like here. Just bullshit like that. How the fuck? And y'all, I promise you, this happened for real. I know that it happened for real because in the court transcripts, they have text messages between Dominique and Lawrence, her father, where she is telling him to stop texting her children that bullshit of her naked and shooting up dope. Her asking him, what do you get out of this? Which is a fair question. Indeed. What the fuck do you get out of this? Your daughter is naked. You didn't try to put a shirt over her. You didn't try to clothe her. You exploited her. You tried to shame and embarrass her. And y'all, I really, really, really wish that this was the worst thing that his perverted ass did. But sadly, crime cousins, it's not. Because Lawrence Banks Sr. was, let him tell it, so disgusted by Dominique's lifestyle, chasing drugs in the Baltimore streets. That's a direct quote from him. He felt that he had to do something about it. And it was some of his most nasty work to date, y'all. May of 2019, he killed Dominique, his daughter. And he didn't just murder her. Oh, no. He dismembered her and tried to cut off all the identifying features of her. And then he took her dismembered body parts and put the pieces of her body in 4 black trash cans. 4 black trash bags. And put them in a shopping cart by a dumpster at the Clark's Lane Garden Apartments. That's in Northwest Baltimore. Now, neighbor seen some shit, called some shit in. But when the police got there, they only found the bags, 2 bags, I guess. That the bags that they found, they only contained her shoulders and arms and torso. Her hands, her feet, her legs, her head, never found. Still missing. This part right here almost broke me. The only way they were able to identify Dominique was because The police put out pictures of her tattoos, and one of her kids, a daughter that lived in South Carolina, saw the announcement that police were seeking the public's help. You know anybody with tattoos like this? She recognizes the tattoos as being her mama's tattoos. That's how Dominique's child found out that her mama was dead. Ooh. Y'all, that just break my heart. It break my motherfucking heart. That child, an adult, called police and let them know, hey, I think that's my mama y'all got. We ain't seen her. And if she gone, my granddaddy did that shit. And so Baltimore police, they knew who the fuck Lawrence was. They went and talked to him and they searched this shit. And I mean, this was like 19, 20 days after Dominique's body was found. So, he done had a chance to clean some shit up. They went through there with the luminol or whatever. They found a few blood spots, but they, couldn't say for sure. But they also found a gun up in his spot. And bitch, you a convicted felon. You ain't supposed to have no guns. And so that was enough for them to yoke his ass up. Once again, while we try to make a case, right? It's so sad because come to find out, Dominique had been trying to get clean for years. She really did. She was in and out of rehab. So she was trying, but that woman had demons. Like, that was a lot that she went through from a very, very young age. Ain't no telling what happened to her, in her adolescence and being in foster care. Like, it could have been a whole lot. But she was trying to get her act together, to keep it in the middle of the road. At the time of her death, they say that she was in a drug treatment program. But that wasn't good enough for Lawrence. Dominique was done with his ass. She didn't want nothing else to do with him. She was getting counseling through the drug treatment program. So she was getting stronger, recognizing her trauma and her triggers. And she was going to go no contact with her daddy. And he just couldn't handle that. And so he had to do something about it. Motherfucker. They did end up trying him for her murder. He went to trial in September of 2021, and he was charged with first and second degree murder, as well as unauthorized disposal of a body. Now, his defense, I mean, I know everybody got to put on a defense, but they tried to say, Dominique was out here living this street life. Somebody said they seen some gang members over there by that trash can. It was probably MS-13 gang members, the Mexican gang. They the ones that did the shit, not Lawrence. Nigga, what? Okay. Well, the prosecution, they had a few witnesses. They somebody seen Dominique getting in Lawrence's van the last time anybody ever saw her. There was a video that was pointed over there by that dumpster so they could see somebody pushing a buggy. But they really couldn't make out who it was, but it was like a build. The person's build was like Lawrence's, as well as Lawrence, they say, lived about 700 feet from where the dump site was. They pulled his cell phone records, and the cell phone records put his phone right there by that dumpster around the same time that figure was on that video. Of course, he had a boo at the time. Girlfriend got on the stand and said, that particular night he came home, he was all scratched up and shit, acting funny, you know what I'm saying? So circumstantial, but good circumstantial, I would say. And the jury, baby, they understood the assignment and they convicted that ass October 2021. They got him for second degree murder. They didn't convict him of first degree murder. They convicted him on second degree murder. And so when it came time for his sentencing, that was February 22nd, 2022. He all up in this motherfucker trying to convince the judge that he don't know who killed Dominique. It wasn't him. He says, after I killed my son, I swore off killing. And even the fruit flies in my house, I won't even kill them. So if I won't kill a fruit fly, I for sure wouldn't kill my own daughter. Why not? You killed your own son? Nigga, please. Please miss me with all that bullshit. Judge Jennifer Schiffer, she was not moved. She wasn't believing that shit either. But it wasn't a lot she could do. But she gave him the maximum amount of time that she had the authority to do, which was 41 years. I mean, that was the best she could do. And I'm okay with that. 41 years, okay, that's a start. Now, he had one more court date for that gun possession, and then they gave him 15 years for that. And then, the ammunition that was with the gun, they gave him a year for that. So in total, we talking 57 years. 57 years state time. Now, that means he gets time off of good behavior. So that could put him potentially up for parole in 26 years, give or take a couple of years. So by my math, he'll be around 95-ish when he gets his first swing at parole. Fuck you, nigga. We ain't letting you out. But Lawrence Banks Sr., I don't call him by that name. He changed it to that Malik Samartaney. Nigga, you still Lawrence Banks. But he is inmate 00486-109 at the Roxbury Correctional Institution. And that, New Orleans Nation, is the story of Lawrence Banks Sr. Woo, child. It's too much. Some days it's too much. I have an irrational rage. Like, I want to go visit this nigga and cuss him out in person. Like, what the fuck? A wolf in sheep's clothing. I think that's the worst kind. The people that he came in contact with who had no idea of his personal life. Like, I told you he had that little car accident. So he had an attorney that worked on his workers' comp case for almost 3 years. The attorney was like, we was flabbergasted when we heard all this shit. That's not the dude who would come in our office. Oh, he was so nice and sweet and gregarious and just an all-around good dude. Like, he could make you think he was one of the good guys, when in all actuality, he was the spawn of Satan. Again, those are the worst ones. Lull you into a false sense of security, make you think, ooh, you got a good man, Savannah. Honey, I got 2 words for that. Background check. Honey, in this day and time, in the year of our Lord 2026, ladies, we got to be doing background checks. We need to go on the Facebook pages and the Instagram pages and the TikToks and all of that shit. We need to go and get our hunt on and figure out who this nigga is that's trying to push up on us. Do he like to lay hands? Does he have a criminal record? Like, you can do the shit for free now. Just Google the motherfucker's name and see what comes up, because you can think you got you a good one. And baby, you couldn't have created a worse motherfucker in a lab. Like, legit. And I don't know. My last thought on this whole case is the revolving door for criminality. Lawrence is not unique in the fact that he in and out. Like, it happens so much more so. And we have got to figure some shit out. Like, you know how I feel, New Orleans Nation. Y'all know I want all of the criminals to just be loaded up and sent off somewhere, because this don't make no sense. How do you get time after time after time? Now, I can deal with recidivism for petty crimes. You out here stealing out these folks' store? Come on, man. We got a whole song about that. That's the theme of the summer. You know what I'm saying? Where my scamming ass niggas at? All of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a crime that doesn't physically hurt someone. If you just keep going back in and out of jail because you got sticky fingers, I can deal with that. It's a non-violent crime. If you are going in and out of jail because you like to steal cars. No, I don't want my motherfucking car stolen, but that's what the fuck I pay insurance for. Even that, I can deal with that. But these violent criminals who put hands and feet and guns and knives and vacuum hoses and strangle a bitch out and all of that type of thing, no. Maybe you didn't kill him, but you got a long history of beating people up. I'm talking about you too. You don't know how to be around general population. You got to be excluded from the population. You got to go. You got one time. That could have been a mistake. Your emotions got the worst of you. Shit popped off, went left. Okay, you know, I'm big. You know, I don't believe in, you know, just straight up monkey stomping a motherfucker out. But I'm saying, after that first go round, we let your ass slide. You do your 15, 20 years, however much it was. Don't let us see your ass no more. Because if we see you again, you like this shit. You can't stay. You cannot stay. Free my nigga t-shirts. Fuck that shit. If you killed somebody, you raped somebody, you done beat the brakes off somebody, you have physically harmed somebody's. That's your ass. And I mean, that should be the line in the sand. Black, white, Chinese, whatever. I don't care what your flavor is, what your nationality is. I don't give a fuck. Multiple times, that's your ass. Y'all better hope I don't run for president, cause baby, I'm gonna make Trump look like goddamn. I'm gonna be tough on crime. We gotta do something. Like, this is crazy. This man has fucked up so many people and gotten away with it. Aunt Viv was a travesty. He left that woman in a closet to literally rot. Fuck you, Lawrence. I don't know if you hear me. I hope somebody somewhere say, hey, man, I heard you was on a podcast. You might want to hear this bitch. Lawrence, fuck you all the way through. I hope it's a big nigga named Tiny that's got your senior citizen ass folded up somewhere, taking you through there all the motherfucking time. Like, all of that shit. Just, I hope you do the worst time that there is to do. You don't deserve no peace. I hope every time you close your eyes, everybody that you have harmed is haunting your dreams. Well, New One Nation, tell me what y'all got to think about this story. You know how to get at the country girl. You can hit me up on social media. You can find me at Melanin Mayhem Podcast just about anywhere except for X, where I am Melanin Mayhem PC. If email is more your ministry, you can hit me up at melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. Again, please, please, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, yeah. Someone thought about, there has been some discussion. I don't know what I did last week. I was up late. I hit a button. I thought I was opening up a subscription service on Spotify for people to get a ad-free experience. That's what I thought I was doing. That's not what happened. And as we all know, it locked the episodes up. I took all of that off, so that you should not even have the option to subscribe on Spotify. It should only be through Supercast. But some of you have put on social media that some of your episodes are still locked. I went to ChatGPT. Me and Chat talked it out. My ChatGPT, her name is Sage. Sage said, uninstall your streaming service and then reinstall it. That should do it. I mean, I've literally taken everything off on my side. I don't know what else to do. I even posted the links directly to Spotify for the episodes that people were saying were locked. I don't know what else to do. And of course, there's nobody I can call at Spotify. But please don't stop letting me know if you cannot access episodes. Send me something and we'll try to figure something out. I am in a lot of places, so maybe, as much as I hate to say it, we might have to find you another streaming service for a minute, because I need you to get to me. Don't forget, you can always go over to YouTube. Those episodes are available over there, although YouTube has its own set of problems, because even though I upload them publicly, YouTube switches them over to private, so I have to go in and change it from private back to public. I swear to the girls, the things I have to go through. And it's just me, y'all, but I'm trying to keep it in the middle of the road. I promise you I am. Don't forget, this Thursday, what is that? The 27th is going to be our first kickback. 7:30 is the time. Remember, we will have the emails going out for all Supercast subscribers. All you have to do is check your email. There will be a link. It's through the Supercast site where we will be meeting. And again, if all else fails, if Supercast is not up to the mission, we will have a backup with a Zoom link. So I got you on that. Other than that, I think we just about ready to close the doors of the church, New Orleans Nation. But before we get up out of here, you know I got to go in and do my New Orleans Nation shout out because I love my peoples. And baby, this week I had one that tickled me because, sometimes when people leave a review, they're talking specifically about a specific episode, and their comments be so funny to me. So there was a comment left on Spotify from, I think this is Jonna B, Johna, Jonna_B1. Jonna said 11,000 worth of orange juice, and this came directly from an episode. The review says, my favorite cousin, I love you. Fellow Virgo here. Hey, Virgo twin. Now, over the years, you've had me cursing, yelling, and laughing. But this episode with the orange juice just sent me. Because what in the entire fuck do you mean he stole $11,000 worth of orange juice? How do you even get out the building? Anywho, child, the episode is still going. Had to get that out. Keep up the awesome work, cousin. Jonna B, thank you, boo. Jonna_B1. Thank you, boo. I sure appreciate you taking the time out your day, not only to listen to the country girl, but to also drop me a line. Baby, these episodes be sending me too. And I said the same thing on that particular episode. Like, how the fuck does one steal $11,000 worth of orange juice? Questions that need answering. But that's why we down like that, because our minds think the same. All right, New Orleans Nation, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm acting like I ain't got no job to be to in the morning. I do. And so I'm going to go on in here and polish this thing up a little bit because, it ain't much I got to do now. I got real easy with these episodes. Like, I get in here and knock these mugs out, all because what I'm doing is so much fun because I'm doing it with y'all. I love you for listening. I appreciate you taking time to stream me. I appreciate you passing a good word along to your peoples to get down with the country girl. So before I go, you know how we do it. I need y'all to make sure you stay safe and stay vigilant, because these motherfuckers is out here wolfing in sheep's clothing, honey. We got to spot their asses. And guess what? If you can't spot them, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, because you know already ready for the motherfuckers. It's one love, New Orleans Nation. And your favorite country girl is out of here.
Woo-wee, Nana, you did that.